Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Brandon. Here on this YouTube video, we're going to be showing you how to sharpen up riding lawnmower blades. You see how these blades here, they look, let me get the tag out of the way while that's sitting there. But you see this, how these blades look, how they look kind of rounded. That's after probably about 30 or 40 hours worth of use. And so here's another one. See that knock in the end of it right there? That's where a rock or concrete or something like that has rubbed into the blade. And it just knocked the soup out of it. Everybody has seen lawnmower blades, but I don't know if they know the safety part of how to sharpen blades safely. Let me go get my other blades and I'll show you what they're supposed to look like when you're done. Okay, I am back. You see how nice and shiny this is? That's what they're supposed to look like. Let me turn that so you can see the edge. It's hard to see the edge when you sharpen them because it's shiny on both sides. But okay, that's a pretty good view. And make sure when you do this right here, if you're using a handheld or a manual grinder, make sure that you wear gloves and safety goggles, because this stuff slings metal everywhere. And you don't need nothing in your body or in your eyes of any kind. And it's hot too, so it'll also burn you. So that's one blade. This is what I use. The wheel's a little small, but it does do the job. It's a Ryobi. You know, you can get these things fairly cheap. Let's see, the wheel I'm using is a 4-inch wheel. As you can see right there. 4-inch wheel specified for the machine. Now this is a grinding wheel. This is not a cutting wheel. This is a grinding wheel. Two total different things. Now, this is the lawnmower which I'm sharpening the blades on. As you can see, I have a lawnmower actual jack. That is actually very highly necessary because it allows you to get up underneath the lawnmower properly. The piece of 4x4 post that is right here in the jack, that is to catch it if the jack was to fail. That's what that is. It's a fail-safe. That's the new word for that. And this right here is an impact tool, impact wrench, set on the max torque with a big old nice 4-amp-hour battery. And you see in here, this is a 1/4 to 1/2-inch drive. 1/4 to 1/2-inch drive adapter that's in there. And this is I think it's a, let's see, what is this? 15/16. 15/16 that goes in these, goes on these right here. And that goes up underneath and goes up in this hole right here when you go to put the blade on. But listen, when you put your blades on, you can put these blades on in reverse and make them turn wrong. Let me show you the proper way to do that, to keep from doing that. These fins that's on the back of the blade, these are mulching blades. They make two different kinds. You see the fins? If you're going to turn the lawnmower this way, the blades are supposed to turn this way. That's which way you have to mount them. Because what this fin does is it takes the grass, mulches it, and slings it out the shootout. I'm not going to say what it's actually called because it's not exactly a nice word in my opinion. But that's what you do there. That's how they go on. They go on just like that. Make sure the fins are pointing up towards the top of the deck. and make sure it's like this. If you put it on and it looks like this, you're totally wrong. Okay? That ain't gonna do nothing for you. I have seen people put them on and they'll be correct on this part, but the blade will be turned wrong. And you don't want to do that either. But this right here is the correct way to put these on up underneath a lawnmower when you have the fin. How to get them on wrong with the fin is what they call a straight blade. A straight blade does not have this wing right here. It does not have that wing. And what that does is it just chops it straight off and leaves it fail up underneath the lawnmower, which also does not mulch it. It does not do any of that kind of stuff, and it makes a bad situation. As far as making a nice clean yard, because after you cut with a straight blade, it looks like a hay field. So that's what it looks like up underneath. I've used straight blades before. They're easier to use, they're easier to work with, but the downfall to them is it looks like a hay field when you get done cutting. And that ain't fun for nobody. Alrighty, so that's the how you do this safely. So I will show you how much sparking this thing makes here in just a second when I get this thing set up properly so I can show you. If I can find a way to set it up properly. As you can tell, I'm not the professional video maker. I don't care to be professional. Got some sockets here. I'll show you just how. I didn't bleep it off, did I? Okay. Maybe this will show you just how sparky these are. Alright, got my gloves. Always make sure you wear gloves. You need thicker gloves than this because your wheel can hit your hand and it can tear it out big time. Send you to the hospital. And I don't have a guard on mine either, so that's another reason why I gotta have gloves. It's easier to do it without the guard. Okay. There is some angling practice that you need to practice when doing this. Don't quite get that good enough right there. I'll have to go back and hit that. I got it real good right here, but I didn't do nothing hardly right here. The angling of this thing, when you're sharpening, you got to make sure you got the right angle against this, or you don't make it sharp. You just grind metal. And you don't want to do that. You want to make it sharp, so you got to have the right angle. And you just have to play with it to get the right angle. Okay, now, I don't know if you can see that all that well or not, but that is how we do this. Okay, now for the back side. And the back side is a little trickier, and you're not going to be able to see me do the back side as good. But it's the same thing on the front. You just don't make as big as a shiny line, because all you got to do is make a tip. You don't have to do so much on the other side as you do the back side, which is actually the bottom of the blade. Now, alright, that blade is completely done. I've got to do one more blade like this, but I've showed you how to put your blade on properly. I've showed you the safeties and regulations on how to do this. I've also showed you the right way to do your grinding. Yes, I don't have a guard on my grinder, but that's because it's easier to do it without a grinder. If you have a grinder, and it's your first time doing this, take it to somebody. Because if you don't have any experience with grinding tools, rotary tools, take it to somebody that does. Because this job is actually dangerous, and this job can get you in the hospital if you're not careful. It can get you killed on top of that if something really bad was to happen. Say, for instance, the wheel was to fly apart while you're actually doing your cut. Things like that can happen. So be highly aware of that when doing something this dangerous. Now, the easiest thing that you could do is just go and buy new blades. But blades are highly expensive. If you want to save a little money and not buy blades every time they get dull, then this is the alternative route. You get about another 15 to 25 hours worth of use on a fresh sharpened blade that you have resharpened from the factory sharpness. That's on the first sharpening that you put on the blades manually. So therefore, we will be working on the other blade and getting all three blades back up underneath the lawnmower. It's a Snapper Pro is what it is. You can tell I've been out here a while. I've got water running down my body. But that's why it's always good to drink plenty of fluids. If you don't, you'll be paying for it.